type providers, the future of metaprogramming in .NET. Now, before we get going, I just wanted to do a little experiment. Could everybody put their hands in the air? Okay, now put down your hands only if you have never been to an F# talk before. Okay. Now put down your hands only if you've never written a line of F# before. Okay. Now put down your hands only if you don't have F# production code running. Okay, so not many people, but quite a few people have written F#. And interesting to see that this is the first F# talk that quite a few people have been to. In that case, I would stress that it's not particularly an introduction to F#. It's an introduction to type providers, which are a very specific feature that came out new with F# 3. So if you don't know F# that well, you might struggle with some of the syntax, but try and focus on more the concepts I'm trying to get across. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to see what the design goals of type providers is, why they built this new feature for the language. We're going to look at using type providers to work with data, which is the primary reason they exist. We're going to have a little look under the hood at how type providers work. A type provider, a very advanced one. Okay. So to understand the design goals, we have to understand some of the trade-offs we have between static versus dynamic languages. Now, I often think that when programmers talk about static versus dynamic, it kind of quickly turns into a bit of a knife fight with the static guys going, oh, dynamic languages are terrible, they're slow. The dynamic languages guys going, oh, static languages are terrible, they're so inflexible. And there's some truth in both camps. I'm more of a static languages guy. I think static languages apport a lot of value in safety and also speed. You can generate much more efficient code. But it's true that dynamic languages give you a lot of flexibility, particularly in one area. In static languages, how do you get data into that language? In dynamic languages, it's not really a problem. JavaScript's the sort of poster boy dynamic. I mean things like dictionaries, lists, stuff that you can insert elements into. And also the much loved data set. I know dataset gets a lot of stick from a lot of .NET programmers. I actually think it's quite a useful class. It just gets problematic if you try and overuse it. If you just want to get some data from a fourth approach, the idea being that type providers give you a hook into the compiler's pipeline that can generate types on the fly for you. So we're going to hop out of PowerPoint mode and hop back into demo mode. Can people see the code there? So what we're going to take a look at is a type provider that's provided by the F# community in the interactive mode. I can just highlight some text in this window and press Alt and Enter, and that will execute it in the window below. So what I did with this line here is instanced a new type provider to the World Bank's data source. So the World Bank provides web services with a schema that give access to a huge amount of data. So for example, we can look at countries. We have a big list of countries here. as we're in France, we'll look at France. So we have a few statistics like capital city. So it's not that clear, but down here we can see that we've looked at what the capital city of France is, Paris. I think we can all see that's correct. Then perhaps a bit more interestingly, we have indicators. So we can look at population total, values, and so that's going to give us a list of values of the population. It's just an identifier, but obviously as it has spaces and brackets, it wouldn't be a normal valid identifier, so we do these double quotation marks, and that means you can use anything as an identifier. Here is that, you know, well, it was faster the second time I ran it. So this is basically World Bank data showing population. Yellow is less, red is greater. And so basically the points on the map are coloured by population density.